Hello friends, let's look at one GTO task every day and see what the GTO sees in you when he puts you through that particular task. So today let's discuss the first task of the GTO series, which is group discussion, and see what is it that the GTO is seeing in you when he is putting you through this task. Now you're aware that there are two GDs which are conducted back to back, one after the other, and GTO would have announced two topics in the first GD, and you are at liberty to choose one of those topics. And then in the second GD, only one topic is given, and you're required to carry out a discussion on that particular topic. So let's see what the GTO would see in you when he puts you through this particular task. Naturally, the first and the foremost thing that GTO is going to see is the content of your views, the knowledge that you exhibit through the points that you're making. That is the single most important thing during the GD. So please make sure that you're well informed, you read a lot. In fact, we write blogs on Olive Green's website. If you have a look at those, you will find that they are written in a manner that you're able to grasp whatever that is relevant to that topic in a very precise manner, and you'll find it really useful. The next thing which the GTO would see in you is your ability to grasp the essentials of the topic as to what exactly is the topic all about. So what I mean by this is that a lot of candidates think that they've spoken well, but they've actually not spoken relevant to the topic. Now, for example, if let's say there's a topic to say that as per you, which is the biggest challenge that our country is facing today? Is it corruption? Is it overpopulation? Or is it communal disharmony? Now, all three leads are equally important. So therefore, whichever one that you wish to choose, you've got to support that till the end of the group discussion. So let's assume that you picked up corruption as the biggest challenge that country is facing. So you will notice that a lot of candidates will speak on how corruption is a very big challenge for some time, and then they'll switch over to talk about what are the ways that corruption can be controlled or checked, which is actually not relevant to the topic. And you might feel that you've spoken very well on this topic, but eventually what the GTO is going to record in his recording sheet is that while the candidate spoke adequate, but he spoke irrelevant to the topic at many times. So now naturally you will not get the full benefit of what you should have got if you would have understood what is the topic all about. So the second important thing is that you must never lose sight of what is expected of you to speak in that particular topic. Now, the third most important thing is that he's looking at the way you have organized your thoughts in your mind and the way you're able to put them out in a very, very systematic and organized manner. So if you speak very haphazardly, naturally the impact that you create will not be good. So make sure that when you are participating, the points that you're making, they sound as if you're putting them out in a very, very systematic manner, and they should have enough experiences of your own life, or perhaps even certain examples which are there in the newspaper, etc. So you can quote certain examples and connect them with the point that you're making, so that your point has greater weightage and it sounds more interesting and more valuable. Now, when the flow of your thoughts in your mind are good, naturally the flow of thoughts in your speech will automatically become better, because from your knowledge and the way you organized your thoughts, everything will flow from there. In fact, it acts as a fuel for your confidence, as also for your ability to express your thoughts. So the next thing that GTO is looking at is your ability to put across your views with great clarity and ease to other people, so that it is understood in a very, very simplistic manner, the points that you're trying to put over there. Now, the next thing GTO would see is that, in any GTO group, you will always find people who are little rash, who are little overbearing, who are abrasive. So what he's looking at is also your social intelligence, that how are you able to very, very tactfully deal with such people who are overbearing or who may be a little rude at times. So how are you able to deal with such people is another thing which he is observing. He's also looking at your ability to be sensitive to the feelings of other people. Let's say a candidate is wanting to speak for a while and he appears to be a slightly mild person. So it'll be a good idea to ask the group that gentleman chest number 5 has been wanting to speak for a while. Let's hear him out. So make sure that you remain sensitive to other people, and that will only happen if you have good receptivity. So make sure that besides speaking well, you're also a good listener, because when you speak, it should naturally be in context with your previous speaker, and it should not happen that you are just making standalone points which has nothing to do with what the discussion is going on at that point. So remain relevant to the discussion. Make sure that you speak in context with your previous speaker. The next thing GTO is also seeing through the kind of points that you're making, that are you a person who is well adjusted in the society or in the environment that you exist. Some people are always kind of complaining and they always keep saying colleges mein padhai nahi hoti and this and that, politicians are corrupt. So they'll keep talking about things where it sounds as if the person is part of the problem rather than suggesting a solution. Also, make sure that you do not sound very radical about certain caste, creed, religion. So don't have very strong views. And also what the GTO is seeing, that hope you're not an anti-establishment person, a person who, unnecessarily stands up to the authorities or the norms of the society. So you should conform to the normals of the society, of the way things are laid out. You should be in conformity with that, and through that he will be able to see that you are a person who is living in harmony with the environment that you exist. Also, GTO is looking at your ability to take up initiative and make many points which are relevant intermittently. Now, a lot of people confuse initiative with your ability to speak first. Now, make sure that you know the clear difference between the two. Let's say a person A was the first person to speak, but he made some ordinary 1 or 2 points throughout the GD, and that is it. Whereas person B was the fourth person to get into the discussion or enter the discussion, and throughout the GD he made very, very relevant points. And the points that he made were with such clarity and conviction that people were tending to agree or was creating a great impact on other people in the group. So initiative is your ability to take the first step, but in the right direction, and also ensure that you take it to the logical conclusion. So initiative does not mean speaking first, but it means that you were relevant throughout the GD and you participated effectively. Then GTO is also seeing your ability to have faith in your own self. A lot of people kind of give in during the discussion. They're looking nervous and they feel inadequate. Even from your body language and mannerism, GTO is going to draw out some inferences. So make sure that you do not appear as if you have already lost the battle, so as if you've given up. So remain in the contest, and make sure that even if you are not able to make very many points, but at least you are looking involved and you are kind of nodding your head or appreciating someone, or at least you are remaining relevant in the discussion. Next, he is also looking at your ability to remain buoyant, to remain cheerful, because throughout this GD, there'll be a lot of uphill movement. There'll be a lot of people shouting at you. There'll be a lot of abrasive people. There'll be people who will maybe be very curt with you when the discussion is happening. So you should make sure that you do not lose your composure. Even if you get irritated in your body language, it will be seen by GTO and that naturally will be recorded. So make sure that you do not lose your composure, you remain cheerful and also remain buoyant, and try and keep the atmosphere in the group also buoyant by, making light comments sometimes or encouraging someone in between and, appreciating someone. So that is what is going to make the environment in the discussion a little light. He's also looking at your ability to withstand certain setbacks. For example, if somebody has made a very strong counterpoint to the point that you were trying to make, he would now see that do you crumble to this setback, or are you able to bounce back and give a good counter argument without sounding overbearing or without sounding as if you are irritated or agitated. So are you able to bounce back from that setback? He's also looking at your mental stamina, because throughout this GD 15 minutes you may not have too many points to participate, and sometimes you feel as if there is nothing more that you have to contribute. So that is what would show a poor mental stamina. So you should be able to figure out what next that you should be speaking upon, and you should also maybe twist the language of some of the statements that were made, add some example to that and make a fresh point and put it out. At the same time, I would like to say that do not be repetitive. Don't keep repeating the same point again and again. So in a 15 minutes GD, you should have been able to make 4 to 5 very relevant, meaningful points which are standalone and which have not been repeated earlier by anybody or by you. That kind of a participation should be enough. Last but not the least, you must never ever forget that during the discussion, it is not the amount that you have spoken that counts, but it is how and what you have spoken. That is what is going to matter. So make sure that when you participate in this GD, at the end of this GD, you should feel satisfied with the kind of contributions that you made, and that should appear in your body language and mannerism also. And that is precisely what the GTO is looking at. Thank you so much.